is actually a square, Keith. It's not a park. So if you want a park, you got to go to Trinity Bellwoods because they have greenery there. But you know what? In Europe, when you go to Europe, there's all their squares, they have greenery in their squares. So why can't young Dundas have a little bit of greenery in there? And you know why? Because Kyle Ray thinks it's the greatest thing ever. It's like a big bowl for advertisers. And I hope that they tax those advertisers and those billboard people up the ass. Because you know that young Dundas Square is so ugly. And now somebody told me also that somebody who works for young Dundas Square, the reason you can't have any greenery in young Dundas Square is because they're afraid that mothers are going to come down there and change their diapers of their babies and throw the dirty diapers into the trees. And I thought, you know what, that would be pretty amazing. At 11 o'clock a.m. on a Thursday, say for example, 1,000 mothers, new mothers, bring their babies down to young Dundas Square, and like at 30 seconds to 11 o'clock, they whip off those diapers and they throw those dirty diapers into the young Dundas Square. I think that would be so fantastic. That's what they're worried about. They're worried about the dirty diapers in the greenery at young Dundas Square. That's why they don't want to put any trees in there. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Now there is a person here from young Dundas Square, and I know he's going to actually disagree with me. But Kyle Ray thinks that young Dundas Square is the most beautiful thing in the world. I think it's totally ugly. Does anyone agree with me? It's nothing but a concrete jungle, and I have actually never stepped foot into that place because I think it is so ugly. So when I become the mayor of this great city of Toronto, I am going to have some greenery in young Dundas Square. And you know what? I am going to welcome mothers with their little babies and whip those dirty diapers into the trees, into the flower beds, because you know what? That would be fantastic.
Legalize it!
Jane Jacobs, ladies and gentlemen. Jane Jacobs, the late Jane Jacobs. She always used to say, if you build something beautiful in this city, you know what? It should be actually named after you. So if you make a beautiful park, if you did actually something beautiful, it actually should be called the Laura Cowell Park, when it's something so beautiful. But Jane Jacobs said that if you also built something ugly, like young Dundas Square, then also that square should be named after you. So I think we should change young Dundas Square to the Kyle Ray Square. So that in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, when people say, who built this ugly thing, we can say, you know what, it was somebody named Kyle Ray that built this ugly square. You have to take ownership and you have to take responsibility. If you make something beautiful, then take responsibility for it and it should be named after you. If you make something ugly and dreadful, then you know what, it should be named after you. And I think they should change young Dundas Square to Kyle Ray Square because it is so ugly I can't believe. It's an embarrassment to the city. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my speech.